everybody, welcome back to the channel and here for another lovely Wednesday craft video. I can't figure out which side I want to be on. I don't know. We'll go with it because I don't have time for this. I have to go to work here soon. So let's go ahead and jump right into this craft video. We're going to be making this lovely little book strap or book cover thing. I don't know. I'm just going to call it a book strap. So just mainly to keep your book closed. This one is my little sketchbook that goes in my purse, so I don't want the pages just flying everywhere because this is where I come up with all my jewelry ideas, and sometimes I sketch different little projects out. So yes, I need this to stay closed so it doesn't get ruined. But I'm going to show you how I made this. It's just a felt little cover that's shaped into a coffin with a little bat to match my other little bat up here, which I got this bat from a seller on Etsy, so I'll leave all her information down below. But before we jump into this, if you are new to the channel and this is your first ever video, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. It really helps this channel out, and also give this video a thumbs up, so to let me know if you like this kind of content or not, you know, kind of deal. But I will go ahead and jump into the craft video and meet y'all back at the end. Okay, so we are going to start this little craft off with just telling you what items you're going to need, and I went ahead and just pre-drew my pattern so you didn't have to watch me do that on camera. But you will need 2 pieces of felt. I'm using this black and this purple, and then you're going to need obviously something to draw your patterns on, so I had to use chalk, some white chalk for the black, and then I used a black Sharpie for my purple. So since I don't need those anymore, I'll just set this off to the side. You're going to need your pattern. If you can't freehand it, I just use my little bat bookmarker to make my bat pattern. And then I used my coffin bookmark to make my coffin pattern. So, you know, if you can't freehand it, just you can bind patterns all day long on Google. But if not, you can use something that you have around the house and you can make a pattern that way. Then you're going to need scissors for this project. I'm also using a sewing machine, which is off camera, but I will be hand sewing as well, so I need a needle and thread for this project. You could do this all by hand, but I'm going to use the sewing machine just for convenience. Then you're going to need some elastic. This is a thin elastic because I don't need it that terribly big, but just make sure it is an elastic, you know, stretchiness for this whole project. And you can get this from any place, from Walmart to Hobby Lobby to Michael's, or you can just order some off Amazon. This is more than I'm ever going to need, so I just need this one roll. And then you're going to need your book that you're actually making your little I don't know what we're going to call this, so the little book binder thing, book strap, there we go, called a book strap. But I'm using this for, this is my sketchbook that I keep with me in my purse, and currently I'm using a rubber band, and it's not that cute, so we're gonna make one that is cute. But you want to go ahead and measure your coffin pattern to your actual size of your book. Now this could be used on a book of this size, you know, if you don't mind the bending pages a little bit, depending on how stretchy your elastic is. But I'm using it for this. It's a hardback, and just so mainly when the pages are in my pocketbook, they just don't come open and everything. So I'm going to be using this for my guide, or I've already used that for my guide. So first step is to cut out all of our patterns, and then we're going to go on to the sewing portion. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I got both of these pieces of felt from Hobby Lobby. You could get it from Walmart if your Walmart does stock them. Ours does not. So they have like the packs of felt. They don't have just like individual sheets, and these were 33 cents. Okay, once you have your coffins cut out, you want to make sure that they're roughly the same, you know, same size, because we're going to be sewing these together, but you just want to make sure they are roughly the same size. And I'm going to be putting the part where I actually drew my pattern on the inside, so you couldn't really see that. So just need to trim it a little bit, because I want to make sure my tops line up and my bottoms line up. So my one pattern is just a little bit too big, so we'll just trim that excess off and trim the excess. Okay, now that they're roughly the same size, let's put all that to the side. We're going to go ahead and cut out our bat. And I also want to just double check this is going to fit how I want it on my book. So just lay it on top of your book and just kind of make sure that whenever I have it where I want it on the front cover, that the straps are still going to be able to connect into the front, but also that this is big enough to cover the portion of the book that you want. I wanted mine fairly big, so when it sits, I'll still have some of the strap, you know, showing, but then it's mainly just the coffin on the front. So there. Make sure that fits. Now I'm just going to cut out my back. So there is my bat, and this is how it's going to sit on the front of my little bat. Now before I actually do anything with the elastic, I'm going to go ahead and sew my bat onto my coffin, and then we'll measure out the elastic. So just remove that, and I'm only going to do it on one side. So just take one side of my coffin, position it where I want it, and I'm going to hand sew. I'm just going to use a very simple stitch on this because I don't care if it's anything fancy or not. And yes, I am using black thread. You can use whatever you want to, but I'm going to be using black. So just get out some of my thread. And if you wanted to do this as well, you could glue it on here, but I'm just going to go ahead and sew it because it'll be nice and quick. Now as I'm sewing this, I'm just sewing it on the outside of my bat so it doesn't disrupt the actual pattern of the bat. But just go ahead and just sew on the outside. Okay, so I just finished my bat and I have it sewed on there. Like I said, I just did a simple little stitch, but it also matches the theme of my other little bats where you can see the stitch. So I kind of like how that looks. And I will link these down below where I got these adorable little things from, because these aren't originally mine. I didn't make those, so I did get them from an Etsy seller. So they're really, really cute. So I wanted my bat to kind of match a little bit, even though I can't put the face and stuff on it. That would be even cuter, but I'm not able to do that. So let's just go ahead and figure out how much elastic we are going to need. Now you can do this two ways, whichever way you prefer you can do it. Now you could have it to where the strap inside the coffin, because you have to think we're going to be doing this inside the coffin. You could have it to where it wraps, like it connects inside of the coffin and you sew over that. Or you can do it like how I'm going to do it, is you're just going to go from roughly about the top of your book, and I'm going to stretch it. Make sure you stretch your elastic when you do this because you don't want it to be loose. That defeats the purpose. And then I'm just going to judge about how much I need for it to wrap all the way around my book. So for me, it's going to be roughly, let's say about 4 to 5 inches. I want to say that's about 4 inches. I don't have my ruler with me, but we're going to use about 4 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. Okay, and then I'm going to stretch it one more time around my book. Make sure it's going to do exactly what I need it to do. Yep. So now we're just going to take the elastic bits and I'm going to place them right here on the inside of my coffin in the middle, and then the same thing over here. We're just going to place it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this, and as I sew it I'll actually stretch it and put it in there, but I'm going to go ahead and move to my sewing machine and sew this up, and I'll meet y'all back when I'm done with that part. Okay, so once you get done on the sewing machine, this is what you should have. Now it is a little tricky when you do sew this, so you have to kind of stretch it out and make sure that, you know, it doesn't get caught on itself. And I had a little issue down in here, but thankfully it's for me, so it's not really that big of a deal. So the true test is to see whether or not it fits on your book. So let's just go ahead and see if we can slide this on here. See how difficult it is. There we go. There we go. And that is how it fits on our book, and that will keep it together and I don't have to worry about it. Plus, it looks so doggone cute. I love it. So, there we go. It matches my little fatty bookmark to keep me in place, along with keeping my books together, so now that I can put this in my purse and not have to worry about it, and I don't have to use the ugly rubber band anymore. So there we have it. Nice little book strap. For either you can use this for a sketchbook or you can use this on an actual book if you want to do that. Just make sure you adjust the length of your elastic to fit whatever book, or you can use it for a universal size. Just kind of make sure you have enough elastic to cover for that. Now the more elastic you have will be easier for this to sew, just because the strap that I'm using is so small is what made it difficult for me to be able to sew this, but as you can tell, I made it through it, so no big deal on that one. But there we have it for this week's craft. Okay, so I hope y'all enjoy that. It's kind of quick, it's kind of easy. It's really easy if you have a sewing machine. If not, then you're going to have to hand sew this. And as you did see, I did hand sew this on just because I didn't feel like cranking up my sewing machine just to put this little bat on here when I can hand sew it. Plus, I like the way I did the stitching on it because it kind of matches this one up here. So I wanted them to kind of match a little bit, but I'm not good with embroidery, so I couldn't embroider all that on there. And I'm pretty sure that was done with a machine, but still, I'm not going to sit here and embroider that on there. I could, I'm not going to. But I hope y'all find this very easy, and you can make this in any size. You just have to adjust your strap length. Like I said, this strap length, when I measured it to fit this specific book, because this is the only book it's ever going to go on. Because they keep selling these, so I'm not gonna ever probably, and it's gonna take me a while to fill this up anyways, so this is gonna stay on this book for a while. But you could make these in different sizes. Just make sure whatever book you're gonna use, or if you want to do a universal, just try and get like a couple books and measure that out. You could do it maybe 9 inches for a regular book if I'm not mistaken. This was about 4 inches and it covers this book, so I think this is about a 5-inch book, I think. I don't have a ruler with me. It's either a 5 or a 6. I know it's not too fairly big, but I just measured this side of my book and did all that. But anyways, like I said, now if you need a pattern for a coffin, if you don't know how to draw one, you can go onto Google and just kind of estimate, measure how you want to do the coffin on the front of your book. If you want it as big as mine, or if you want it a little bit bigger to fit the size of your book, if you have like a textbook or something, I would recommend going bigger just so it would look proportional and look right. This is kind of hard to see on camera. There we go. Okay, because it's all black. But yes, and I like the contrast of the black and the purple. I like black and purple. Because my favorite color is actually like an aqua blue, but that doesn't really go with black too well. So, unless you got like a neon. But I didn't feel like doing a neon. This is a bit more subtle, so people don't question this as much. But yes, just make sure whenever you do this, you just measure out your strap for as big as your book, and you'll be all set. And like I said, you can find any kind of coffin outline pattern on Google. Just Google it. It's very simple, unless you can eyeball it and then do it that way. But it just depends on how creative you are and how talented you are. Sometimes I do need a pattern just because I'm doing something quick. So just kind of depends. But anyways, I will go ahead and stop yammering because this isn't the why you were here for this video. And I hope y'all enjoyed this craft. Let me know down in the comments if you've made one of these, or if you decided to do a different pattern or something. Just let me know. Love to chat about it. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.